finger.
Thinking about it.
Fighting what?
I know my future. My little friend.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
Pick it up, baby. Pick it up. Here, pick a card. I'll tell your future. Come on.
See ya. This is the Comet Spot, episode 3. I'm your host, Ricky Van. It is August 2nd, 2026, and this man right here is my co-host, Joe the Psychologist. What up, bro? How you doing, brother?
I am doing good. It's a little early for us, so this is gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know.
It's going to be more of a condensed show. We're going to kind of move really fast between topics. Unfortunately, I got some personal plans to attend to, but that's all right. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to discuss Spider-Man, a brand new day. We're going to give our quick thoughts, and we're going to review it. We're also going to delve into X-Men 97, episode 7, I believe we're up to right now. And we're also going to go into Absolute Batman, the second trade, which is called Abomination. We're not going to really review that or discuss it in detail. Joe is a huge Batman fan, like we mentioned before, and this is his very first time reading Absolute Batman. So we're going in order. So we did the Zoo last time we were on here on the Comet Spot. Now we're gonna get his thoughts on the Abomination arc. You know, the characters, the changes, the themes. So see where his head is at on that. So that's gonna be a little later at the end. But first, we got some casting news we want to discuss.
Oh yeah.
X-Men, the rebooted X-Men. Now we know a certain character does show up in Brand New Day to kind of spearhead the next generation of X-Men films. So it looks like now reportedly, it's reportedly, so it's not confirmed yet, but all signs point to this being is going to come into fruition. We got Kaylee Spaney will be playing Rogue. Joe, this actress I like, Alien Romulus. She was also in Alex Garland's Civil War as well as Priscilla. I haven't seen that, but I heard she was pretty good. What are your thoughts on that? How do you feel?
Who does she play on Alien Romulus? The main one?
The main girl, yeah, that's her. Yeah.
No, all right, yeah, I liked her in that one.
So funny thing is, we got her,
remember.
and now we got Black Panther, who was also in that film too. Yeah. So.
Which I was happy with that casting, and Charles Melton. I mean, if you watch Riverdale, he is the Beast, and the dude is tall.
Looks like that's gonna be official. What do you think?
I've seen it on a couple other places. I mean, at this point, it sounds so legit.
Yeah.
We were hearing Ryan Gosling for a year.
Oh, for way more than that. If you go back,
Yeah, that's true. I
bro,
mean, it's
yeah.
so sometimes the rumors tend to almost be, especially as much as some of the other blogs and stuff, and like once they all start picking up. And they start seeing, things are leading to it. It's pretty close. And Melton, like I said, he's got a good jawline, to be honest with you. I did like Nicholas Hoult, his version of Beast being younger. But, maybe this Beast, because he is tall, saying he has the jawline. So I like Charles Melton for the
He's
Beast.
tall, pal.
He's tall, man.
There's a Cyclops. We don't know yet. There's a few names that are being thrown around.
The
Do you know
name
who
that
these
I've been
names
hearing more and more is Cooper Hoffman.
Cooper
the
Hoffman,
son
son
of Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
And who starred in The Long Walk with the other guy who got cast as Black Panther. So
wait, hold on. What's his name? We don't pronouns, pal. What other guy? I forgot his name. Man. Jesus Christ.
I couldn't remember.
Johnson, something Johnson. Oh man, I feel like an
Chris
asshole
Johnson.
Right now. No, it's we talked about him last week.
I know. We
It's
talked about
okay.
it last week.
It's okay.
We covered it last week. So
I
we're
feel
good.
bad. But those are just again rumors. But one strong possibility, and it looks like this one is in fact going to be true, is our girl Samara Weaving as Emma Frost. If true, you couldn't pick a better actress for Emma. She has charisma. She looks gorgeous. She has the accent to pull it off. She could do the posh, like the attitude,
do the action.
Bro.
She could do the action too.
Action. So we're big fans of her. Ready or Not 1 and 2. She was also a brief stint in Ash versus Evil Dead. Any other roles you like her in?
And I want to say she was the one that died in the beginning of Scream. That she was on the phone with the date.
Yeah.
She was, she got the basically
That
be the
was
first kill.
yeah, not the last screen, the one prior to that.
Six.
Isn't that the one that was spoofed in Scary Movie?
Six. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
awesome. I love the sound of that. Samara weaving is great. So yeah, so it looks like coming up in a week and a half maybe, we got Disney's D23. Last time they were there, or a couple years ago now at this point, is when they introduced the entire Thunderbolts cast. They were all on stage. I keep hearing now that
That's
Disney,
gonna be the same for X-Men.
that Disney and Marvel, they're racing to get all the casting done for X-Men to present the entire cast and crew, Sadie Sink included. We'll get into her in a bit. Let me got a couple comments, so let me just grab these before we move on. Selena V, hey Selena V, my favorite handsome fellas, what's up?
Hey,
Thank you for
Selena.
joining us. I enjoyed Brand New Day so much. Yep, we're gonna jump into that. What up, boys? Rick, a week to go till we get to hang out. That's right. We're gonna have a very special guest in house. What up, Adam? I can't wait, man. It's gonna be a good time, bro. Selena, especially when it had me almost jumping out of my seat. LOL. You know, yeah, you know if you know. Yeah. Well, I'll bring that up. Yeah, there you go. All right. So before we start, really quickly, my comic book pick of the week. I'm only gonna leave it to one book because we're stressed on time, but I think this is gonna be a pretty important one here. I wish P-Rock was here to see this one. We got
the Godzilla
The
one.
Horror of Godzilla. This book it's amazing. I'm gonna come up and say it right now. IDW is the publisher here. This book here, pretty much these scientists awaken Godzilla. Nothing new there. He comes out of the depths of the ocean, destroys Tokyo. But this is the Horror of Godzilla is just not in the title. This is a legit horror book. Godzilla destroys the city, destroys people, but not only that, he also brings something even more terrifying with him. I'm not gonna say what it is. I don't want to spoil it. But it's a very refreshing take on Godzilla. If you're a fan of the character, kaiju's, horror, or all three in general, I highly recommend pick it up. It's a limited series. I don't know how long it's gonna go for. Maybe 3 to 6 issues. I want to say. Right now, only 3 of them are solicited. So I don't know how. I didn't look into where it's gonna end. But the artwork is dreary. It's dark. It's got this color palette that's consisting of like greens and yellows, just like the cover. See the cover here? This is pretty much what the book looks like. Godzilla looks fierce. It has everything in it, man. It's science fiction, destruction, and also, Joe, it has a bit of body horror in it as well. So, the Horror of Godzilla just came out this past Wednesday. If you're a fan, like I said, you love Godzilla, you love horror, you like science fiction, you like everything in between, I recommend it. It's cool. There's so many Godzilla books out. I mean, whether it's Marvel, he's fighting the entire Marvel universe. He's fighting the Justice League over in DC.
League.
He's collabing with the Ninja Turtles. He's everywhere. But this here, to me, it's so different compared to not only the comic medium but also the films as well. So pick it up. It's in your local comic shops. It's I believe it's $4.99. Yeah, $4.99. There's a variant cover I didn't realize it was out. It's a variant cover that combines Godzilla with Joe. What's JR's favorite horror movie?
Oh damn, you can put me on the spot like that. Hold on.
Right.
No, it's not that. Wait.
John Carpenter's Halloween. So it's a Halloween.
Oh.
It's a parody of the Halloween movie poster, the cover. So one of them. There's so many, but yeah, that's gonna be my comic book pick of the week. Again, there's more books, but for time's sake, we're gonna leave it there. I'll be back next week with whatever Wednesday leaves us with this week. But Joe, it's a new day. Yes, it is. Brand new day. Spider-Man. Spidey has been busy. This one is directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. If you're not familiar with him, he directed Shang-Chi, and he also was behind Wonder Man, which unfortunately has been canceled. So, it is what it is on that front. But Joe, there is no season 2, by the way. When I say canceled, season 2 was promised, but no more.
Oh, you're gonna say I thought that they were getting a season 2.
They did. They greenlit it, but just this past week, I think what it is. Like Armor Wars, for example, is getting retooled. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I think they're kind of slowly phasing out their TV series until they get everything back on
On
get
track
everything
to what
back
they
on
were
track.
hoping.
Because if it's gonna help further the MCU and strengthen it, I'm all for putting those series on pause. To be honest with you, and at least Wonder Man, just like the Burrows, ended in a way where I'm pretty satisfied with how it ended. Even though a
Yeah.
little bit of a cliffhanger, not really cliffhanger, but more like, oh, where's it gonna go now? But we're not gonna get that, unfortunately. But again, I'm happy with where they left off. But this film starts with Spider-Man's been pretty busy. He's been stopping super villains, stopping crime. He's pretty popular. I mean, him and Punisher already have established a friendship. Well, I don't want to say friendship at the start, but they know each other. Um,
The Staten
so
Island situation.
so what I like about this, especially the Spider-Man series, is they don't waste time on origin stories. Like they jumped right into it. Like Uncle Ben is already long gone past the story. They didn't retread that. Again, they don't want to waste time going into, oh, how did Spider-Man beat Punisher? No, all that's out the window. Spider-Man and Frank, they know each other. We got a lot of villains introduced in the beginning. I was kind of disappointed though because a lot of these villains were promised and they were just like 2 seconds on screen. I'm gonna let you
You know
talk about
why,
that.
right?
Talk to us. How you
All
feel
right.
about the how you feel about the beginning? When I say the
Um,
beginning, but like this whole montage of Spidey, what he's been doing this whole time.
the montages were all meant to throw basically homages to the either the comic book or certain characters. You know, for example, the scene where he's sitting upside down, that was a nod for Miles Morales. When we got the villains, which I'm kind of the same way as you, because they showed them in the trailer, but literally what they showed in the trailer is how they were used in the movie. So I'm like, well, this sucks. Like, I wanted to see him, do a little fighting with Tarantula. I wanted to see, a little the montage with Tombstone should have added a little bit more to it. But they were just recreating some popular covers in the comics, which is why
Right.
the montages work to do that. And I didn't mind it, but I just felt like it was shortchanged only because they did use Scorpion in there. And Scorpion is the only one in the montages that is brought back later in the movie. We'll discuss why. But I felt a little cheated on that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. And,
Yeah.
and listen, I know. I would say right now, I'm gonna sound a little bit on the downside, negative, as we talk about the movie. I love the movie as a whole, but we're gonna, sit here to talk about it. But the first, like, it was a good, for someone like, for example, Adam. He just saw all these, great things he was doing, and then as a comic book person, and Jr. was the one that collected these. I'm like, man, that's it. So like, I wanted to see Tombstone in action, not him holding him up in the air. You know what I mean? It was, yeah. I liked it, but I didn't love it because they were so short.
You know what I want to see now? Again, you mentioned their costumes. Like Tombstone he looked great. Boomerang looked really good. Tarantula
Yeah.
looked good, and Scorpion looked good. Man, he had no mask, which is weird. Full body armor, but his head's completely exposed. Anyways, I'm thinking what they can do and what I would like to see. Now, this might be a little bit daunting and it's a big undertaking to try and do this, but there is a storyline in the comic books when the New Avengers by Brian Bendis, Jesus Christ, um, Bendis created a story where the Raft was this big security prison housing a
Hmm.
bunch of supervillains. There was some kind of something happened, right, that caused the entire place to shut down, no power, and all the villains escaped. And the whole storyline and for the New Avengers now was try and go back and collect all of those villains and put them back in. Now this started with Spidey collecting Boomerang, Tarantula, Scorpion, Tombstone, putting them in prison. Now imagine if now in the next movie there's a storyline where if there's a big breakout and we got to put everybody back in. Now it could bring back Michael Keaton's Vulture. He's also was locked up from the earlier film. It's just wishful thinking, honestly. But I'm thinking, man, those costumes look so damn good. They even have Ramrod. He was in
Yeah.
it. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck,
Ramrod was
dude?
also
And he
in
looked
there.
good. He
He
looked
did.
good. Yeah, yeah.
That was also a cover. That's what I'm
Yeah, it
saying.
was.
Like
It was. Yeah,
it,
all of them were. Yeah.
all of them were covers, which
Yeah.
it was great for them to do that for the
Yeah.
especially the collectors of the books. I'm sure the people who had those books
Mhm.
sat there and were like, or still have the
Mhm.
book, just had that moment where
Yeah.
you get to see, because again, it's seeing the comics come to life and actually having these covers, famous covers, be on the screen. you made a lot of people happy with that. I mean, let's
Yeah.
give him kudos on that.
The movie moves fast. I mean, very quickly, Spider-Man is in pursuit of this runaway tank that's just causing all types of utter destruction throughout New York. And of course, Frank, the Punisher, Frank Castle, he is also on the trail of this tank. And you know, Spidey knows he's gonna be, he's gonna accumulate a body count in order to stop this thing, and Peter stops him. But really quickly, let's talk about the chemistry between Spider-Man and Spider-Man and Frank Castle, the Punisher. A lot of people are saying, and I kind of agree, but I don't dislike it as much as others. But Frank was kind of out of character in this movie. But if you look at what happened in the Punisher One Last Kill special, what he went through here, it's good to see this guy have, you know, smiling and laughing a bit. But let's talk about the chemistry between Peter and Frank. Like, did you find it too cheesy? Was it funny? What did you think?
Well, before hit the comment real quick before we keep going.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, something.
Oh, the villain montage fights. Well, first of all, what up, JR? What up, son?
What's up, JR?
Thank you, sir. The villain montage fights were to cover the 4-year timeline to show how he immersed himself into his role due to his heartbreak over MJ. It really reminded me of what they did with Fantastic Four, the first steps, when they had their montage. You know, the Red Ghost and they mentioned Diablo and all those characters. So I
didn't want to say that because then I was like, all right, I'm already going to say a couple negative things about how short the montages were.
No, we gotta
but
be
at
honest.
the same time,
we
just saw that with the previous movie.
P-Rock was the Spider-Man collector. Yeah, I have a huge Spider-Man collection myself. He was my guy growing up. But while everybody was reading X-Men, I was over reading The Amazing Spider-Man.
But as far as the relationship, you know, in the comics, you know, they first start out as enemies. So
that's right. Punisher debuted in The Amazing Spider-Man. Good call.
And you know, when he had said in the movie, "I'm gonna kill that kid," you know, like I'm sitting there like, all right, so are we gonna have Punisher be the antagonist in the movie here? But it turns out, as you said, they had become friends. So I kind of same thing. I liked this type of Punisher instead of actually making the Punisher be the antagonist, because then at this point it would make no sense considering with, you know, what he's done with Daredevil Reborn. So it just following the storyline in the comics to try to do that, it wouldn't have made sense at this point. Having what I now feel is going to be another thing with Spider-Man is that he's always got to have an adult male figure be like there for his decisions and to help him out. I'm like, I haven't seen the first movies in a bit, so my memory could be off. But you know, he had you know, Tony Stark, and then he had Doctor Strange, and now he had Punisher. So it's like kind of making the Spider-Man character have a crutch of having to depend on another grown adult male in the MCU. Giving these two who are, you know, fight in New York makes more sense than Iron Man and Doctor Strange. I will give that. And, you know, which I don't want to jump around, but another thing they had redid here is that they covered here, which I can't wait to see it. But one thing I saw after I saw the movie was they recreated a scene where Punisher carries in Spider-Man. And I guess that's going to be in Civil War, which we'll be covering when we do the second episode of the events series that we're going to have. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like I was like, oh, because I was like, well, that's pretty, you know, like seeing that scene. And then when somebody was like, yeah, this was, and I'm like, oh, all right. But this is another one that's why I had mentioned earlier. They teamed up, or something happened in Staten Island, the Staten Island situation, because it's brought up.
They kept bringing that up.
So that's, you know, the way to tie the character had long been in working with him, and this is why they have the relationship. But Frank still has no problem of pointing his gun at him and shoot. He knows that, you know, Peter's going to dodge it, you know, or move out of the way, but he has no problems reminding Peter that, you know, I will shoot you, kid. Like, yeah. And which he did, you know, he shot the gun at him anyway. So I like it. It's just, I would like to see a Spider-Man movie, because I would say we're going to get maybe 2 more. I'm sure Tom is tired of, you know, playing. Granted, you know, in this one, Peter's, you know, a young adult, but I'm sure Tom's going to reach the same point that some of the other ones that did, you know, the first arcs. for the MCU that they got kind of tired as well. So I'm hoping that we'll finally get to see Spider just be on his own
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
not relying on another adult male to help him out.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And you know how I felt about having Tony Stark giving him all the tech.
You
And I'm
hated
like,
that, and
Spider-Man is a genius. He's not like Reed Richards smart, but he's a fucking genius. And what I did like about this movie, they brought back the scientist and Peter Parker. Like he was
yes,
actually
which how
doing his
he's
own
supposed to be.
gadgets and yeah, he's talking to Bruce Banner. He shows up and that whole conversation about, the what is it, the inhibitors. I loved all that because finally he's not depending on someone to make the stuff for him. Yes, he needs information because again, he's not like a super computer, but he is a very intelligent man, and I'm glad that they added that little wrinkle into his character here because that was missing. Because of course, Doctor Strange, like you mentioned, took care of all the weird shit,
Yeah.
and I don't know. You're right.
Well, and if from the beginning, from the first one, they would have like focused
Yeah,
on the fact that he is smart and scientific, and not make him be clumsy and a
yeah.
klutz. You know what I mean?
And I love how he still preferred his organic web shooters. Not, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
his practical ones that he created himself with the fluid. And even when he had organic, he tried using it. It was interfering with his own mechanical devices. So I like that they actually show him not just like the actual web shooters themselves, but just his whole overall like all the computers and all the gadgets and devices he had. Now, how did he accumulate all this stuff? I don't know, but I'm not gonna sit here and micro analyze every single decision made in these films because this is just way too much about it. The filmmakers probably didn't put too much thought into stuff like that, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But how did you like the fact that this film there isn't like no streamlined villain? I mean, there's villains like and damage control, for example, but no classic Spidey villain. Now we don't know what's happening because uh, a lot of people are getting mind controlled, possession, right? There's a mystery in that, and even Peter, which they found a good way to bring in Yelena as a little special cameo here. Peter is trying to investigate who's behind this. So at first I was thinking this can't be Jean Grey. Like this is a villain. Like what I'm saying, it was a weird disconnect there. But before it was revealed, how did you like the way the whole possession scenes were handled and the whole overall decision to go with that?
And this is where I had started having my dislikes. Let's do the comments real quick so I'm gonna get behind. Also, if you're watching,
But yeah,
hit
yeah,
like, and if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and do that.
What up? Hey, it's early, bro. We're not even slurring, brother. What up, one? You're not first. You're close. What up, son? What up, Adam? The romantic in me wanted a different outcome for him and her, though. Spidey and MJ.
Yeah,
I
and
love. No, I
during the
love.
rescue, we'll talk. We
Yeah,
can talk
yeah.
about
I
that.
did like. I did like how that. Yo, comic spotters caught Joe early before the flurrying. Let's see. I think Joe's gonna be good today. It's a little early.
gonna be
Joe, give him a couple hours, but yeah. But thank you,
Yeah,
brother.
and I won't be. I'm not as
Appreciate
tired
you
either.
here. So yeah, Joe. Chat me up on that.
So here's where I had a problem with that. Which is the jumping part because it reminded me of Denzel Washington's Fallen. If you have not seen the movie, the main villain here has the ability to jump into other people. He just has to graze by them, and the person can take possession of that body. So that's what it reminded me of. Granted, they were using that she can jump, and I'm like, is this kind of for the villain? I'm like, I've seen this in a really great movie because Fallen is an awesome. Have you seen it?
Nah, you say Fallen. I keep thinking it's like the movie where Michael Douglas Breakdown, where I keep thinking it's that type of
Falling
movie.
down, falling down,
Falling down.
That's
But,
falling down.
oh wait, it's called Falling Down.
Falling Down is with Michael Douglas.
Is it?
Fallen.
Oh, I thought it was Break. Oh, you're right. That's a different film. Got you.
Fallen is with Denzel Washington and John Goodman.
So that's a
And
supernatural film or
yeah,
sci-fi?
he's
What is- oh, I didn't know that.
he's a cop. They put a stop to someone. This person has the ability to jump into other people. So
Okay.
now he's trying to find this person who can jump into anyone, and it's
Right.
literally by touch because you're dealing with what's going to soon come to be a mutant. They have this ability to jump, and I'll deal with that a little bit later. But that was where I had an issue with the movie, is because if you had seen the movie Fallen, you will sit there, and at times in the character in the movie, when, as they're chasing, would turn around and smile at him, would wave, similar to how our antagonist was doing in this movie. So I wasn't a fan of the possession plot to the story.
Yeah, I agree. Not I just didn't. I don't know. It just felt goofy to me. Like I don't know. Like I just wish it wasn't such a big part of it. I don't know. I think I may have enjoyed it more than you did, as far as because you don't like it because it reminds you of another film. I didn't. Unfortunately, well,
You didn't have
fortunately,
that too.
I didn't have that. I probably would have hated it even worse.
Go,
if
now,
it-
now go back when you get a
Um,
chance. Add Fallen to the list of movies for you to see, and you're
Yeah.
gonna see it.
But I'm going back to the villain part. I think the main point of this film is not really about Spider-Man versus the villain. It's Spider-Man versus himself. He's
Yes.
lonely. He misses his friends. He's trying to decide, is he Spider-Man or is he Peter Parker? And the moment where MJ, tells him, like, she don't remember him, she doesn't love him, and he goes into like this spiraling depression that activates something in his DNA. The spider DNA kind of awakens something. He gets heightened senses. This is after waking up. It feels like I'm pretty sure you had plenty of days like this, Joe, waking up out of a bender, like, where the fuck am I? But this guy's hung up between buildings in a fucking web of cocoon. But so yes, he gets heightened senses, which is very hard to control. He's not, that's very difficult when everything is screaming at you at once. And of course, organic webbing, which it looks kind of gross at times. Imagine having some fluid coming out of your fucking wrist without even. But he knew about that because he did meet
Tobey Maguire's
Tobey
character.
Maguire's, and they had the whole bit about the organic webbing. But I did like that the point of the movie was him finding himself, because the way, again, I'm jumping towards the end, but the way Spider-Man overcame his internal antagonist was by choosing who he is, and what he ultimately chose was, no, I could live with who I am. As my Spider-Man or my Peter, I'm both. And that is when the whole movie comes to one big. It goes from plot A, B, and then finally C. That's when the big climax happens, and you get the big superhero moments. I think that's the real story they were trying to tell. I think overall it worked, and I'm not a fan of Spider-Man and his friends in this series. I've always mentioned that, but I think they were used really well here. Ned was funny. His scenes were good. MJ, again, I like the fact that they didn't get together. I love that. It could have been so easy to put them right back together, but no, they stood just friends. That was cool. How did you like about real quick, Yelena's appearance and Bruce Banner's appearance before Hulk, but Bruce himself? Like, how did you like all that stuff?
Well, and just because I want to, when you were talking about the organic webbing,
Yeah.
I also had liked it, but this is where it was kind of one of those. It drove me nuts about the Peter character, because the Peter character is more scientific, so he would have actually owned it a little bit more. I wish P-Rock was on, because I couldn't remember if this was also during the time that Spider-Man developed the 4 arms.
They
Like,
were they
was
were
it-
going for that, I think, but this is
I
legit.
wanted to see
But
that.
they said
but-
that would have been too horrific for the younger
Yes.
audiences, so they
Yes,
didn't
it
want to
would be.
include any of that.
But I think
I'm
that-
kind of glad they didn't put it though. I'll be
that
honest.
was part of that storyline in the comic book, because
Yeah.
that's why I thought they were going to go with that.
Yeah, yeah.
The same thing I had, but just for me, it was another one of those that, that Peter would have been scientific and gone, well, so my body is going through a change, and now I'm producing it. Instead, now he's like, ew, this is gross. And this is, I don't know if they got rid of the cups, but some of the theaters, the soda cup, I don't know if
Oh,
you saw it,
God.
was going to be it's basically the webbing coming out, and people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like, yeah, this does not look good.
It can't be as bad as those Supergirl cups though.
Well,
And
it doesn't look good. I kind of agreed when somebody pointed out. But as far as Yelena and Bruce, I will say that seeing Yelena in here, it was the reason that I finally watched Thunderbolts. I hadn't seen the
Ooh.
movie yet, but seeing her in this movie, I wanted to see what she was like in the Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually did enjoy the Thunderbolts. And I think JR was the one that said,
It's a good movie.
I would like it, because it's psychological. It's a bunch of lost souls learning to basically
By the way,
all work together.
the director of Thunderbolts is doing X-Men. He's the director on top for
I
that.
can see that. And I actually liked Julia Louise Dreyfus as Valentina. I wish that because Valentina in the comics, she's a capable fighter also.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice to see Valentina. And great, yes, they would have used a stunt double.
Yeah, but if it didn't look good, keep it the way.
But it would have been nice because basically her doing something because now she's political,
Yeah.
but doing some kind of move to show she's still just as badass. But yeah, no, seeing her, Yelena, I loved her scenes. I love her dry humor. I kind of can relate to that. I have that kind of bit of a, I kind of, yeah. The Bruce one, it still falls under my issues with the Spider-Man movies is yet again another adult male that he went to for help, whereas Spider-Man in the comics would have figured this out on his own. I feel.
But no, I don't think so because you know how many times
No, but
Spider-Man has gone to like Reed Richards or even he's gone to Bruce Banner before.
No,
So
I know,
that
I know, but just meaning, but it like again, it's just they never really developed having Spider-Man. In this one, they did finally.
but the only
with him
reason
using
why
it.
they had Bruce for that role is because Bruce was using an inhibitor
Yes,
chip.
no,
That's
I know.
okay.
I'm just
Well,
trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that yes, because it was convenient to use Bruce
Yeah,
for
I
the
got you.
inhibitor
Yeah,
chip,
yeah.
but then it leads into we've already seen the Hulk fight other superheroes. So seeing the Hulk fight yet another superhero, I'm like, guys, we've already I get that it was, because of the whole Jean Grey and what she was doing, but at the same time, like really
I did like they used two different Hulks though. The smart
yes,
Hulk, then the even bigger
the
savage
bigger Hulk.
Hulk.
Yeah, because the one that got really, really pissed off. But yeah, no, I would say Yelena, it was the reason I literally
what's
as soon as I
smart
got a
about that?
chance, I watched the Thunderbolts.
That scene, how as ridiculous as it looks on paper, it just tells you how smart of a character Yelena really is. It may seem silly that she's in a spa, right? But if you think about it, she is in there. She prompted Spider-Man. Now let's say someone else. They got to take off all their clothes to get in. That's how she know. All right, they're not hiding no weapons.
Yeah.
She's in the back. The only door's in the front, so no one can sneak from behind her. So everything is
brilliant.
strategically built for her. At the same
Yes.
time, well, I could relax in the tub. So
Yeah.
she's great. I'm glad you enjoyed her and the Thunderbolts. Let's talk about the Jean Grey reveal quick. How did now? Of course, that's Hollywood's worst kept secret. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it was like no one in the theater really reacted because everyone knew. Everyone going in knew she was gonna be Jean. But
Well, let's hit the comments real quick before.
you could pull these up, Joe. You know that, right? I thought that's what you're supposed to be doing. Hold on, I got one here. Hold on. Watch yourself.
You're right. You're right. It was supposed to be me. I forgot
yeah.
that. My bad. Thank you for
Oops.
reminding me.
Spider buggy. Sorry, guys. Smells like weed in here. Maybe I'll get a contact high. What? Joe don't smoke. You get Joe. Nah. Oh, was that in the movie? Am I missing a?
I don't think it.
When I think of the Spider Bug, I think of Into the Spider Verse when they had his little his vehicle. It's Marvel film. Joe always starts with low expectations. Oh no,
See,
here it
no,
comes.
This is not true.
No, I agree with Joe's
actually-
points and his criticisms. I agree.
I
with
actually
Joe,
don't. And the thing is, I know that a Marvel movie is going at this point right now. Let's be honest. A Marvel movie is going to be made better than a DC movie until the last Superman. What actually, the last Super movies I
Supergirl, you
enjoyed,
had issues with, so
I did.
Yeah.
So, but Marvel has a lot of money backing, so I expect more. Actually, I don't go in low; I go in with high expectations.
it was about the fear of losing himself. Yeah, I love the subtext. A lot of the subtext in this film. I love how it's not like in your face, but if you really think about what's happening, because everyone is expecting a big bad supervillain battle, or that's gonna be the whole entire plot. But in reality, it wasn't. It was all about Peter. And I think, and I'm not a Tom Holland fan, but he really won me over in this movie. I think he was
better in
really
this one.
good. He was really good in this one. Joe makes it sound like he was going through spider puberty.
He was.
That was
He
like
was.
spider puberty.
Yeah, that's literally what it was.
He went to Dr. Connors in the Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, he been through a lot of people, but
He does.
Connors,
I know.
Connors, he knew
I
Connors
just
because of the college. I think at the time Spider-Man was in college, I believe, or I believe he
I
was.
just mean that I would like to finally see a
Oh
Spider-Man
no, no,
movie
he
where
was in
he's
high
on
school.
in high
College
school. Yeah.
during when I was reading, but when he first met Connors was high school. That's when Spider-Man first started.
My only point is that I would like to finally see a Spider movie where he doesn't have to do that. That's
Well,
all.
maybe the next one maybe he has matured since. So,
All right, so
let's find
then
that out.
let's talk about Jean Grey. All right, so as you can see on my wall here, I have the X-Men poster. I collected the X-Men comic books. I'm very, very familiar, and this is not a power that Jean Grey has. So it was created for the movies. Because of the movie Fallen, I wasn't a fan of it. Having introducing the sister, in the past, teaching her how to do this. Okay, so that maybe this is a way of them adding another power to Jean Grey's already Omega level powers.
Well, let me ask you a
that she could
question.
use.
Let me pause you right there, because this goes to what you're saying. You know more about this than I do. When Jean Grey was on the very first Stan Lee run, when the very first Jean Grey, she wasn't nowhere near as strong as she is now. What was her first power set? Like, it wasn't what it is now, because she
No,
evolved over time. But what was it exactly?
she can read minds. She can move things, move objects. She can like not create like
It's
the
not
force field.
telekinesis. What is that called?
Well, she had psionic. What it? Tele telepathic.
This is a telepath. Yes,
Telekinesis.
telekinesis.
And there is another teller, but it wasn't anything like the level that she's at now. Like this
Yeah.
is, this is like the mutants through the years. As the more they use their powers and the older they get stronger and eventually reach, a mega level.
Yeah.
My problem with using Jean in this is, I think they're just trying to introduce the X-Men into the Marvel the way that the X-Men have kind of been in the Marvel comics. You've now made Jean Grey people are gonna be discussing this powerful person who did all this to Manhattan.
Yeah, that's
So it's
crazy.
gonna create the mutant panic. So it's gonna show that instead of people just being able to what do you call it? Take in the mutants, they're going to be scared of the mutants because of what Jean Grey had done in New York. So it's setting up to possibly, start out with having the mutants have to be always fighting the humans. The guy that led Damage Control, which actually in the movie Damage Control was the villain, which is weird because in the comic books Damage Control was there to be able to clean up some of the messes that the heroes made.
So he was an X-Men, the Tillman's character.
Tillman's character, yes, he was.
JR had brought that up to me. I didn't know that. I'm not familiar with that.
He
character.
the something Friends of Humanity, I want to say possibly.
No, was it Friends? No, it wasn't Friends.
Hold on.
There wasn't. No, we're watching that right now in X-Men '97.
Hold on.
Look it up, brother. Why you do that?
But yes, that's my
So
issue with
why
the
you look
Jean
that up?
Grey.
I am glad though that they brought Sarah into the picture, because she was a character in the comics. She's not pivotal in like very important storylines, but it's nice to acknowledge that Jean, in fact, did have a sister, a younger sister, but the actress is a lot older than Sadie Sink, I believe. But it worked out. But all right, so what you got for us, brother?
Hold on. Came out in my ear from the channel. Hold on.
Everyone's waiting for you, Joe.
Well, you
No
could have kept
pressure.
talking about
No pressure.
anti-mutant activist. Hold on.
So all right, let me. What is his name in the film? I forgot. I completely.
William
blanked on
Metzger.
the-
Bill Metzger.
Bill. It's William, but they call
Bill
him Bill. That's
Bill
what it was.
Metzger. All right, hold on.
All right,
Of course,
if
this-
it's
I
not,
gotta
all
see-
right.
But anyway,
My
either
time
way,
is ticking here.
either way, he's a human member of a group that hated the X-Men and been after the X-Men.
So Damage
making
Control
him-
itself, was that in the X-Men books, or that name is
Damage
established
Control
only here?
actually no, and damn it, JR, if you're in the
Let me
comments,
see.
I
Let me
just can't
see.
remember if Damage Control was introduced in the Spider-Man books or if damage control was introduced in the Avenger books.
All right, let's see. You have to remember also, by doing this, they covered the backstory of Jean Grey's dark side, where Professor X had to block this persona because it was a dark side along the Phoenix
So now,
entity.
right? So now they're going to. So
I
then,
just,
yes.
I pray to
So
God
now,
they don't do this
now
Phoenix
you're
saga
trying to
shit
say
again.
that the Phoenix is already in her
Ah,
instead
I
of
don't like
her,
that.
instead of Phoenix actually taking possession of her in
Mhm.
space. I'm not a fan. Yes,
Nah,
they
it's
later
too
have
soon for
at the
that.
years because of the movies they've done it, but.
Don't even bring it up at all anymore.
But yeah, damage control, like I said, it was either in Spider-Man and they actually even got their own comic books. And there was a damage control NBC series
Mhm.
based on this group. They're generally good guys.
Oh, I
but
remember
here,
that. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Wow. So that.
they're generally good guys. Here, they
Mhm.
were the ones that were used as the bad guys, because of what they had done to Sarah. And then now they get to Jean. But that's my only part of you have Spider-Man, just like Batman, has a huge, like vast of villains.
Damage
No,
control wasn't part of the. Yeah, that's what he
it
just.
wasn't.
Yeah. They debuted in 2022. Okay. All right, man. Well, Joe, let's go into the climax of the film, right? Let's talk about just the way the movie leaves off, and then we'll end it with the post-credit scene before we give our final
Well,
thoughts.
leading
Yeah,
to
anything else you
is
want to say, guy?
leading into like using Jean Grey. You now did the sympathetic villain. You know,
Okay, thank you, Gr.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah. It was years ago. That was like
Yeah.
2022.
Well, say so.
You created the sympathetic villain again, but this time used to introduce a mutant to now create mutant panic. So yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that. And even though you see Jean on a bus, and as you see that the bus as it pans away, it's nothing but trees. She's heading to Massachusetts. She's heading to
Yeah, obviously we know
the
where she's
school.
going.
Yeah, so that like, did she leave the school to go find out her sister? And maybe that's how you're gonna get introduced, is that she's gonna show up and they're gonna be like, Jean,
I don't
why
think
did
she
you
was
do
there
New York?
already because she was saying she's been alone for a long time.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I
But,
mean, yeah.
but yeah, that's I thought it was another fun movie. I'm still a huge, out of all the MCU movies, I'm still a fan of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I love the Tobey Maguire ones. I haven't seen the Garfield ones. I know I have to.
You
But
haven't seen them at all?
I have not. No.
I've only seen one. I'll be. I did.
Okay,
I
so,
skipped.
all right, so I was gonna
I
say,
skipped the second one.
But for me, like, Tom Holland's character has grown in his
Right,
role. Has grown in his role, and it shows in this movie where he basically is kind of an adult right now.
Okay. So real quick, the post credit scene. What did you make out of that? Everyone has their own.
Wars.
It's pretty simple, but
Secret Wars. I mean, Secret Wars. Or it might pop up in Doomsday, unless Spider-Man doesn't appear in Doomsday at all.
I believe it is Secret Wars, yeah, because he's gonna. The way I looked at it was he's not. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he's in space fighting Doctor Doom," and but I think he's on Battle World. I think that is where that next ping was.
Yeah, I think so also.
Yo, Fuzz, what up? You call on JR Fuzz. I remember that. What's up, one? Like Triple H, you got that fuzzy hair now. He doing his hair back here. I wish I had that hair. My hair's fucking. Anyway, all right, Joe. So, real quick, how you want to? We haven't reviewed anything here yet. How do you want to score this?
No, we don't. I don't want to score them. Let's just.
No, let's give a score. It's a review. We got. It's in the title. All right, I'm gonna say right now. To me, it's a 4 out of 5. That's my review. I think the film was. I really got to go back and watch the one prior to this again because I really did enjoy that. But I think this movie has my favorite iteration of Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Because of that, it may lean towards my favorite one. But again, the villain aspect of it, the whole Jean Grey thing, it left a lot to be desired for me. I wasn't a fan of how that was really handled. I think Sadie Sink though is gonna do really good as Jean Grey.
She's gonna be good as Jean Grey, but
that's not a problem at all.
Making a mutant the villain is, again, this is just to
It's just
basically
it's,
already
you know
make
what
the
it is.
mutants come in having to be against people not
Think about
liking them.
this. Think about the genius of this, and this is what a lot of people aren't taking into account. People are mad. Oh, why are they introducing an X-Men character in Spider-Man? Well, for one, do you realize how much money this movie's made? Now imagine
Um,
all these people are
keep
all
on, keep
these
going.
people are introduced to Jean Grey now. Now they got their gateway into the X-Men. You gotta realize there's a lot of casuals still that watch MCU, not the cartoons or books, just MCU. They have no idea who the X-Men are. You put a character like that in a movie that's viewed by this many people, you already got buzz going. Now all you people are talking about now is X-Men casting news. So I think it was a very smart decision to add Jean Grey into. I just wish she was kind of handled a little bit better. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. The humor was really good. It was a lot of fun. Yes, Frank Castle was out of character, but I think what he brought to the film, it didn't deter from it for me. I think it was good. I mean, it's kind of dumb him shooting the Hulk over and over with a fucking gun that's doing nothing, obviously. But again, a lot of it's
That
done
would
for
be what
humor.
Frank
So.
would do, though. Frank only uses his gun, so he's kind of hoping he would get that one shot in there.
Yeah, but overall, I'm happy with it. All right, Joe. So
Oh, and what I
all
was gonna say is that people saying how Jean Grey
I'll get to
there,
this, guy, Joe.
there was for a brief time a animated series where Spider-Man teamed up with Iceman and Firestar and Iceman. They even
Yeah.
had a comic book. The Spider-Man has in the past teamed up with mutants.
Oh, dude.
So it does
Yes,
make
yes,
sense that a
no, that'll bother
mutant
me
would
because
be introduced, in the movie. It's just using the mutant as a villain.
and
She
Brian
should have been
Michael
there to help him.
and Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man, the original Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter was dating Kitty Pryde. So yes, they
Yeah.
had interactions going back way. This was early 2000s, and I'm sure the Firestar and Iceman, the Amazing Friends, was in the 80s. So yeah, Spider-Man has a deep connection to the X-Men, absolutely. He has a few movies left, but when he leaves, it will be when Miles Morales is
Yeah.
introduced.
Yeah,
He
I
wants to
agree.
bring him in before he exits. So the good thing is Tom Holland
Agreed.
started young in his role, so he's not aging out quite yet. And plus, you want him to age because Peter has to mature. He has to evolve.
Yeah.
What's the scale? Pops of popcorn. Pops. I don't popcorn. I'm not a popcorn guy, man.
Well, I was gonna say, well, I'm like, what does Moon Knight use?
Crescents.
All right, so I was gonna say batarangs, and you can use
Battering.
crescents.
Oh.
So
We
I give
gotta
it
keep
four.
that in
I
mind.
give it 4 batarangs, and
I
so
give
you
it
give
four.
it 4
I give it
crescents.
4 crescents. There you
So
go.
they're
Good shout.
They're
There you go.
one.
Thank you, GR.
Figure out
Nine
which
hundred
one you wanna
twenty-seven
use.
million. Look how much
It's
money
not
this
done
made.
yet.
So
It's not done yet.
and that's
They're
just the
they have
weekend.
no, tonight the weekend's not done yet. Is what I'm saying. The numbers for tonight
Yeah.
will be. They're saying it's going to be 1 billion.
Frank knows Spider-Man is a kid, so he treats him differently. He would Daredevil. Yep.
Yes.
I feel like Doctor Doom was a major X-Men foe. I think that's a new vein of the universe. Doctor Doom has tangled with everybody. I got a Moon Knight
Yeah.
comic book where he fought Doctor Doom. So
But not as much.
no, I mean he's
as
to
yet.
me he's a Reed Richards villain. Like he hates that motherfucker.
Well, I mean, since
bro.
he mentioned
He don't
the
mind,
X-Men,
Invisible Woman, because he loves Valeria. That's his goddaughter. I think he really secretly really likes Ben, and Johnny finds it a nuisance, but he hates fucking Reed Richards.
Well, yeah, because he's the other smarter person.
Yeah.
There
All right,
he
let's
goes. Let's talk
let's
about
hop
X-Men
into
then.
the X-Men. Yeah. Before we made more than the last 3 DC films combined.
need to do shots fired, man.
I was gonna say that. 4 Batarangs and 4 Crescent Moons is way more unique. Big score for you both. There you go. Thank you, brother.
Right.
DC makes movies. They're trying.
Jesus
They're
Christ.
trying. How to do that
It's
shot?
okay. I'll defend myself. I'll defend myself on this.
All right,
I don't-
let's go. Nah, you're good.
Right,
I'm just
yeah.
fucking with you. So let's do Strange Land, Savage Heart, episode 7, X-Men 97. So this episode was very, very heavily focused on Nightcrawler as our main protagonist. A lot of characters, a lot of minor characters were here. Primarily the acolytes. So so back what's Sabretooth's
Grayson, Creed.
Creed. So it's Grayson Creed.
Grayson Creed.
Because I forgot in the original it's Victor, but they changed it to Grayson because they want a senior and junior in the original X-Men cartoon. I keep forgetting that, but Creed. So again, My man, yo, this guy, he's still as racist as ever. Creed over here.
He's jealous. You'd be jealous too if your brother
But
and
we
sister had
didn't know that
powers.
until this. Well, we didn't get to that part yet in the
I know,
story
but
because no, I'm not saying you're
in
wrong.
the
I mean,
no,
like,
no,
yeah.
but in the comics, that's
So
where his jealousy lies.
yeah, the X-Men and the Acolytes, while they do have similar goals, they go about it completely different ways. This was like an episode of Law and Order in a sense, but it had a little bit of everything. It had more Polaris in it, which is always good. I'm glad she's in the title screen now. They added her to that, which is awesome. We got Colossus is back. He came back in this episode, and Ileana was here
But as a surprising person, he was back.
as a member of the Acolytes. Yeah.
Acolytes,
So
you know.
talk to me about the Acolytes, Joe. I'm not again. I knew a little bit of them when Jim Lee and Chris Claremont had them in the rebooted, well, not the reboot, but the Objectiveless X-Men book from the '90s. That's how I know more. With Fabian Cortez, that's But there's a lot of members that came and went throughout the years, so you don't got to talk about all of them. But just give us an idea of who they are in case people don't.
I mean, you had Chrome, Frenzy, and I have a Unision. I have a hard time pronouncing that one.
I didn't know that was Frenzy. I was surprised. Yeah.
Did I say Sanaka?
No, you said
Okay.
you said-
And Chrome, obviously Exodus. Joining on this one was Colossus,
and Random too.
but and Random.
Was he was an acolyte? Random.
Yeah. But when
Okay.
you get that, what they did was the way that you got to see all the other acolytes, so that way you didn't see every single member fighting, was during the court trial, where you also saw Rusty and Skids.
Rusty
were also there.
Collins. Yeah. Rusty
They were
and
also
Skids,
there,
yeah. I peeped
and it was a good way of basically, throwing in there and former members of X-Force. So it was good to see them in there.
That's true. Also too, Exodus. Real quick, you mentioned Exodus. This guy, he's an Omega level mutant.
Well, he was created by Apocalypse.
Yeah, he's old, isn't he? He wasn't like
Yes,
one of the
he
Knights of the
was-
Templar and shit. Like,
Yes, he was.
Again,
he knew the Black Knight and Cersei in the
yeah,
comics.
that makes sense why
And-
he would fence with.
So he
man,
is
Nightcrawler.
like that. He's French, obviously.
Yeah.
And when Apocalypse had created him, basically turned him into Exodus, he had told him to kill Black Knight and Cersei, and he didn't do it. So for turning against him, he sealed him in a vault in the Alps, where Magneto then found him.
Was that part of the
making-
Excalibur books? Is that where that took place?
No,
Or was that
because
X-Men? That was an X-Men?
X-Men. That was an X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's where the character was introduced.
Okay.
And then that's where he became one of the first members of the Acolytes. The only thing is, what Creed did in the in the series, it's not going to stick, okay? Because the power levels that Exodus has, he's telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, immortality, and accelerated healing factor.
Yeah. He's
So
been around.
he's been around. So
around.
when he got shot and killed, if you collect the comics, you do, well, he's not dead. I mean, he's going to regenerate, everything will come back. But, it was just more for the story wise for Nightcrawler, for Kurt to see that his brother Grayson is not going to change.
Oh, so
Like,
good seeing like Kurt in the.
Well,
in
this
the
was the
spotlight.
introduction of the X Corps. So this is why, if
Mm.
you didn't see the other members, this is because when we talked about the last episode, when you asked about the X Corps, they have different branches. So this is Kurt's team, which is with Bishop, Beast, and Polaris. I don't know who's the leader, because the way that Kurt was so heavy on there, I would imagine that Beast is the leader of that group, not making Kurt.
I would think
but-
so. I would think.
Yeah,
Beast,
that's what I think. I think it would be Beast, but that's
senior
this is
member,
part
yeah.
of how we're going to see X Corps play out possibly through the season and the series for next year, if they continue that on, is that
Yeah.
you're going to get former X-Men coming back. And when you
Well,
mentioned Ileana,
Yeah. Yeah.
fucking dead, she can't be dead. I'm
No,
sorry.
She's dead, but she'll be back. Remember
She
in the
has
books,
to.
she's died a lot. She's died a few times. So, and she was already. You would say she already experienced limbo because she has the soul sword, right? That's
That's
how
why
she got it
yeah.
to begin with. So it's a little weird
yeah.
there. But real quickly, we didn't mention this in the prior episode, but the Frank Quietly costumes. Like, how do you like the new costumes that they put in there?
I like
from,
the costumes.
That was from the Grant Morrison and Quietly run. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
like 'em.
think,
I like
and
'em.
of course they added new designs for the characters that weren't suited up in the books, like Rogue, for example. I think it's a refreshing. I like how they keep
Yeah.
switching the costumes in the series to keep
And that's how
everything
that's how
fresh.
the
I like
comic
that.
books did it too.
Yes,
So
yes, yeah,
for a comic reader, seeing it being done on the
yeah.
screen, it's good.
How did you like the inclusion of the Savage Land here with Polaris saving Bishop when they fell out of the plane because they got the what is it, the disruptors, right? That what's that called? That
Yeah, the inhibitors. Actually, no,
that
wait,
no, it was
disruptors. It's
disrupt.
disruptors.
Yeah, yeah. They had the big tower and it
Yeah.
was removing their powers. That's why all the acolytes had that belt on to kind of prevent that. And somehow Bishop acquired all this energy before his powers were removed. So this guy was. I saw somebody say this, and it's so true. The man was so constipated in this episode.
Yes,
It's like trying to take a
yes.
big dump, and you can't. And then when he finally did release that beast, bro,
Fucking
like
blew it out.
explosive diarrhea, boy. That was great. But how did you like? First of all, do you think they're gonna go with making Polaris and Bishop a thing? 'Cause they're kind of
Did you
flirty
see
a lot.
that?
Yeah, I
Did
know.
you see that? Okay, I peeped that. Like when they were on top of each other, they had that
Yeah.
moment where they were looking. I'm like,
That was
is
cool.
she gonna cheat on Havoc right now? You know,
And it was
because-
very cool. I bring up the Savage Land because I really like that they introduced the same T-Rex that rampaged in the original animated. So when they had Magneto and Professor Xavier were stuck on there, that was
the thing is
cool.
back.
Yeah. So how'd you think about all those scenes?
I did. I loved it. I watched it last night, and I was like, man, this is such a fucking good fucking show.
Yeah.
Like as an X-Men fan, I fucking love it.
How
yeah,
about
I mean-
Colossus? How you like him in it? Like as
I-
far as like his role with the acolytes and the way the whole
Actually,
trial
a
thing.
little frustrated on that because by now Colossus would have been a team member.
I think
So
he
I
is
just
now. But
feel,
you're right.
I just
You're
feel
right.
that it's taken too long for Colossus to be part of the team. Like
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just,
assuming. Do you agree with me? Going forward, he's gonna be because he goes into the school. What was nice too, he was always in his steel form the entire episode until the very end when he looks at the school, and then he goes. Now he lowers his guard and he
Yeah,
becomes
it's-
Peter.
I think
again.
like because it was like I got how he was because I had rewatched the original series and how he was introduced. And it's just
Yeah.
weird how his character has kind of been so lost. It made sense how they did it for the series, having his sister die in Genosha. He joined the Acolytes because, following what Magnus believed. But I think it's just taken too long to finally have him to actually be on the roster.
I agree, man. You would think
Too long.
Colossus is a big part of that. God,
Yeah. Dude, I mean,
But-
he's part of the reason that they were able to defeat Juggernaut so easily once.
So, what are you looking forward to the next episode then?
Well, I mean,
did they
what
give
we
a
get,
preview
what did
at
we
all?
get
I don't know.
leaving? We got left with basically, them find X-Force finding that Apocalypse
That's right.
is
I
dead.
completely blanked on that. You're right. They
And
found
and the card from Death Gambit,
Gambit,
is
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
going to call him because he got turned into one of the horsemen.
Horseman. Yeah.
But
Cool.
it's how did he kill Apocalypse? Because literally the fucking X-Men have been trying to do this for like years. So is that
But
really
if Apocalypse
dead?
created Gambit as Death, brought him back, why would Gambit turn on him? I would
Maybe Gambit was not
I'm-
going to try to
but-
kill the X-Men.
Maybe what if it was like how like Apocalypse would need to transfer his he'll need a new vessel to transfer. himself.
And he's in
Maybe-
Gambit now.
Maybe maybe he did that to make it seem like, and he's in another body now, another vessel.
He's in Gambit.
I don't know. It could be. He could be in Gambit. Remember, he wasn't even. He was a Cortez. Remember, Fabian Cortez
Yeah.
in the original series. So, but
That's
let's
what's out
wait
there.
and see on that. Overall, I think this was one of the. I don't mean it as a negative, but it is one the weaker of all the new ones
filler.
for me. But I still enjoyed it because I love when they give characters like Nightcrawler and Colossus, which we don't get to spend nearly enough time with. And Polaris and Bishop have moments here too. I think we need to see more of those characters. But I think it's time, honestly, that we bring back Cyclops and Storm and Logan and we got a Jean. We got to bring these. I haven't seen these characters forever at this point, so I think it's time we get back to the broader picture. But I'm enjoying giving other characters some shine. But I think it's time that let's get back to it. All right. Well, we're gonna cap it off with this for tonight. Joe finally read Abomination. Now, I had told Joe before the first Batman book, Absolute Batman the Zoo, while really good, it just keeps getting better. Let's see if Joe agrees with this. So the first arc, it really felt more like a Christopher Nolan movie to me, more like crime based. Now this is when the horror steps in, because Absolute Batman on the surface, it's a horror book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of horror elements here.
Agreed.
So we get introduced to our first absolute villain that's truly horrific. What did you think of the Darker Material one and Mr. Freeze? Compare this Mr. Freeze to the Earth Zero Mr. Freeze as well, the differences. So
Well,
Got it.
for one, I like the darker material. Here's the thing. People were not a fan of the Snyder verse because the characters were darker. But this is not Snyderverse dark.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is horror dark.
Those are like
S-
big tough machismo, like what do you call that? Like
Well, and they were,
badass dark,
they were
nah.
brooding. They were like
Brooding
the
and
comics.
drinking massive amounts of alcohol. No, this is
Where
different. Yeah.
where this is, horror, and you hyped me up on it because every time you kept buying them, and I had already told you, even though I wasn't buying books, I made sure to stay on top of releases, storylines, so that way when I go back to collect again, I'm not completely lost. I've already been following through the years. So seeing these character changes, because like I said when we discussed the first arc of Absolute Batman, it's just refreshing. I mean, who doesn't want to read a comic book or read something that's just feels fresh? And having Victor Freeze be an asshole because he got sick and his parents put him, in the ice until they found the cure. And it turns out that being put in cryogenic, sleep or stasis is painful and horrible. So
Trapped
the
under
way
ice.
the way he explained it and how the things went. However, when they showed his character and they showed him later on, I'm like, yeah, I don't trust this shit. So when he's showing Bruce around, I'm like, yeah,
I love how
something's
peaceful
coming
he
up.
was, how like low key.
Yeah,
and even
no, I
Bruce
didn't.
is like, I'm
Yeah.
alright, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm getting him talking. He seems lonely. Let me. Yeah, right.
I was already like, bitch, I got you. Something is about to come up, and then he turns,
Yeah.
into the monster form. But as Bruce is then explaining, the reason he's so strong is the fact what the ice had done,
Mhm.
to the muscles and everything, causing this petrification.
Yep.
However, I will say, I don't know how that ended because he jumped out the window with
He
all
escaped,
these.
essentially,
He
yeah.
escaped, and it ended there. So, all right. So I was talking to my sister last night and wondered if I should have gotten tested for dyslexia, because sometimes I read things and don't pick up on it. And I'm like, we're done? Wait, hold on. So I went back a couple of pages to see, did I miss something? And I'm like, no, it's literally
Mhm.
he escaped.
Mhm.
Now, the Freeze character in the Prime Earth or Zero is he's a more sympathetic character, where this one, he wants to fucking just punish you because his parents thought it was going to be a good idea to put him in this stasis, and it turns out it changed his body and actually made him into a fucking asshole. And I'm
Mhm.
here for that. It's different.
Within the book, there was some files that this character, Mitchell Malone, matches
Matches.
one of Bruce's old friends.
Alter
who,
egos in the Bane line, which I love that you brought that up,
Yeah,
but that Bruce uses that matches Malone as an alter ego, whereas in the Absolute Universe, you
That's
actually
a friend
got the
match. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
character
Pretty
and
cool.
got a fucking important part in the storyline.
Now, this is when they, real quick, a little sidebar. This is when the horror really comes in. When you see his fate, bro, that was pretty horrific. Man.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this book ain't
the
playing,
bacterium.
bro. Yeah, the
Bacterium.
bacterium. So anyway, he hands Bruce this I think it was on his phone, right? When he dies, Bruce grabs his phone and he goes through these files, a lot of video he's looking up. He came across a few names. I want to name them to you. You tell me who they are. Some are pretty obvious, but who is? And they'll go only by last name. Langston. Who is that?
That's Man-Bat.
Yes, sir. Isley. This one's easy.
That's Professor Ivy.
Yes.
Or
Strange.
Floronic Man.
This one's
Floronic
even
Man.
easier. Well, no. Well, Isley is
Hugo,
Pamela
Hugo.
Isley.
Oh, you're
Strange,
right. You're right.
yeah,
Hugo Strange.
Hugo Strange, who I will say now, it's not a spoiler because I told you it, but he has not shown up yet at all. And of course, we got Fries, who is Victor
Victor.
Fries. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. It's interesting too because in here, what I was gonna say, uh, so in this book, in this series, we get the introduction of Arc M. So it's not Arkham, it's called Arc M. You'll find out why and I don't want to tell you because you haven't got there yet. But and Bruce infiltrates this place, and that's when he meets Victor Freeze. But again, this was a 2-issue arc illustrated beautifully by the great Marcos Martin. Like I said, every time this series gets a fill-in artist or a guest artist, it's always a superstar, always. So that's pretty good. Really quickly now, it's called Abomination. So the main star of this, as far as villain-wise, is Bane. Absolute Bane. Joe finally got to get a little taste of Absolute Bane. What are your thoughts, man? What's the first thing that pops into your mind when you think of this character?
Well, especially so the thing with the original Bane, it's much different than this one. And I might have to go back and see because I had Nightfall. And this it felt like they were trying to redo Nightfall, but it was just done so much more, because Nightfall, Batman, his back got broken.
Yeah.
But Bane had used, Batman's rogues to slowly, mentally, and physically break him down to get him to that point to be able to have the advantage over him. Having the fact that the Venom gives him the ability to have read things, he understands different fighting skills. The fact that he took Batman out by pressure points, and he's like, dude, Batman he's like,
before using the Venom at that.
Before using the Venom, that he's like, dude, with the leg, he goes, well, you got one leg left, and I'm like, yeah,
Bro,
this is
come on.
vicious. This is vicious. He is one by one, and it's not even punches yet. It's just he went, doop, I'm gonna hit you in this spot here, and I liked the way that the character was done. I will say I almost messaged you because I had read the whole arc today before doing this because I wanted with movies it's a little more different. With the books, there's a lot to take
fresh in your mind. Yeah, I
need the comic.
I reread them as well before we do this.
Yeah. Only because it's a lot more you have to take in. And when it got to what you thought was Bruce and Bane fighting, and he chopped off his arm, and I'm like, I'm literally
me too, bro. I was like, all right,
what?
Scott Snyder is not playing right now.
I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? And I literally, because I'm in bed and I had the phone, I went to grab it to message you, and I'm like, read on more. And I kept reading, and then the other arm got lost, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's when I went, wait a minute, okay, hold on. Something's not up.
And then when they showed, what the idea of the Bat Bane or whatever he would be, and then it goes that it was just Pennyworth, explaining what
the whole narration.
Happened.
Yeah, you didn't know at the time, but the whole narration throughout the whole issue was Alfred explaining to Bruce what would happen if you pursue.
Because he knew Bane. He knew Bane when Bane was a normal person before he had done the Venom thing. But yeah, that was that whole issue.
This
felt
goes into my next
what
part.
If episode.
This goes into my next part. Now, what was not a what if, what came at the end of that, what he did to Bruce's childhood friends, bro.
Oh, dude, here's the thing. And you never really ruined it. So reading this, honestly, I'll tell you right now, you have not read my reading on this. But when you told me that they were all friends of his, I'm like, well, how are they going to become who they become? It's weird. I'm seeing Croc before he's Croc, Dent, no scars.
Interesting too.
Ozzy looks normal.
That Bruce used all of them to his advantage too. That's how he learned how to fight. He learns tactics. He learns
everything.
Strategy.
And they all said in that issue, one of the issues, they all said, "We are Batman."
Yeah,
and they felt used.
Yes, I don't blame them.
This is which makes sense on creating his gallery. The brilliance of it is that they already know who he is. It's not them trying to figure out who Batman is. They know who he is.
Yeah,
But
I like how they wasted no time with that too. They got right into it.
Bane,
So walk us
being
through,
the
what did Bane do to
creator,
him? Good.
but being
Talk
being
to
the
us.
creator of the Rogues, where he
He's the creator
broke
of the Rogues. Yeah.
every one of Ozzy's bones, broke them to the point that it didn't hit any internal organs or anything of importance. However, it broke so many bones that once he is healed, he's going to be 2 inches shorter.
Bro, he took him. It's essentially like Toxic Avenger, just crushed him to the point
Yes.
where, again, no vital organs, just crushing him. He was a
Nothing.
tall guy too.
Yeah.
And he crushed, and now he's gonna. Well, I don't want you'll get into that, but yeah, he's
But
slowly devolves into
he's
the penguin.
fucked
yeah.
up. Like this is where
He's fucked up.
what's the doctor's name? His friend,
Whose friend?
Batman's friend, Bruce's friend, the female doctor, the one that
It-
first brings him in to show him what Ozzy looks like. This is where
I
she goes.
forgot her name. Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
she's important with the Batman mythos.
Oh, you know what? 'Cause she doesn't really appear after this. That's why I don't know who the fuck she. Yeah, I got you. I know who you saw. I forgot her name though.
But you know, she says it's an abomination, and then you see poor Ozzy is just.
He's
It's just
sitting there
horrible.
like all,
literally, it's
crunched
all
up.
mangled.
Turned
He's
him
got
into
the
a penguin.
turn him into a penguin.
Fucked him up. Fucked him.
Then Harvey went to go at him with a bottle of alcohol,
Yeah.
which then after he breaks that bottle, lights it on fire. So that's Harvey, and he crushed his skull.
Yeah.
Or like I guess the way that the doctor said that they found them with the skull was separated,
Yep.
but they were able to put it back together.
That would describe why now he's gonna have two different mindsets because all that brain damage he accumulated too.
And then with Eddie, damn it,
Riddler.
Edward
Nigma.
he took his eyes out.
He
And
lobotomized him essentially.
Basically, like ripped his, like his brains were all out, and he had things stuck to him.
Yeah.
But he actually, because being who he is, like actually enjoyed who he had now become.
Yeah.
But I did love that when he was explaining how he had taken his head, and the first time he smashed his head, questions, or it was something he had said at first. The questions that had answers were now questions. So every time he hit him, it was like it was rattling his brain every time.
Yeah.
He kept getting the brain damage. But to make Bane be the person who's responsible for turning the friends into the future rogues and Killer Crocs. Dude, that was like that's
so Killer
fucked
Croc.
up.
We didn't get into that. He was not attacked by Bane. He was captured by the JK. That's the private company that runs Arkham. That's developing it.
After the snowfall from the Mr. Freeze arc.
They kidnapped him, they drugged him, and they pretty much mutated him into Killer Croc. How did you like his design, by the way?
I did like it. I will say the mouth was a little on that, but you know what? The way that the series is going,
it fits the series. Yeah. It fits the
series.
tone. It fits
And
the tone. Yeah.
it gives another, because in between there you had the story where where Waylon was going to be fighting the Bilbo, whatever the
Fox.
was.
Yeah.
And they're all telling him he's gonna lose this. Like everybody's trying to convince him, and he didn't believe in him, and he ended up winning. But Croc or Waylon said, "Help me, like, dude, kill me," and
That's
he
sad.
couldn't
That was
do
sad,
it.
dude. That was sad,
And I'm like, you know
bro.
what? That explains why Waylon is pissed off. Like, dude, it's the thing is, all of them are gonna go, "It's your fault I'm like this." And that is a great way to now giving a fresh take on Batman and his rogues, where it is actually a little bit more personal. It's all rooted.
And remember, Black Mask warned Bruce. Remember in the prior chapter, he said, "You don't know what you're getting into, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're waving over your heads. Your whole world's gonna come crashing apart." And as bad as Batman's life is now, giving you a little, not a spoiler, but a little foreshadowing, bro, this is nothing.
All right.
Bruce goes through the ringer. So every time something happens, I always think back to what Black Mask said. Like, if you would have just stopped, took the deal, and just took the money and just left somewhere, just like Pennyworth wanted him to. But one last thing before we get into the end. I forgot to bring this up. We got Absolute Harley Quinn was introduced here. I completely
I
forgot.
liked her. Yeah. I
But
did.
I love how Harley was always associated with Joker or villain. But in here, she is the leader of
She's
the
the Red
Red
Hood.
Hood gang, and
Yeah.
she looks completely different, skinhead and like tattoos, but in a good way, not like the sloppy like gangster look. Very cool looking character. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's makeup. It might be
No,
makeup,
I
but
liked it. I liked it
I
because
like it. That's
it's
but
still
you're
keeping with
gonna
what the character looked like,
yes.
whereas giving the character a
And
different.
I love how Batman utilized her. He utilized Wayland. He utilized Pennyworth and his
Let's
own
not forget
brains.
Catwoman.
And
Catwoman.
oh, it's right.
Catwoman.
Selena Kyle.
I will say, I'm glad they quickly addressed because when they saw her, I'm like, why is she wearing black masks?
There you
Thing.
go. Remember
And
how you
they
mentioned
addressed it. She stole it
she
during
stole it. But again,
So-
those masks have special,
for them.
attributes and
Yeah,
technology that would help. And you'll learn more as you go along the
I know
book.
I liked and
So
I liked
far,
that
so how you like it overall?
I did. You know, it's another dude. I'm loving this series. We're obviously up before we won't be back for the next part because
We're
it
gonna take a
doesn't
break. It's not out
well
yet. Joe's
it
buying
doesn't
the
release
graphic
until
novels. Yeah,
September 8th. So
that's the
already
Joker
behind
arc.
me is the Wonder Woman one, which we'll be covering in the next episode that we do. So
Cool.
I'm kind of more on the fuck. It's not I'm waiting monthly for this fucking episode. I actually have to wait yes, I'm waiting a whole month, but I'm waiting a whole month so I can get like 7 more issues of this. I'm glad that I'm buying them this way because I don't know how you did it waiting for the next one. Whereas
No,
I get
what
to
you said it, but what do you do when you catch up? I just
I
gotta
know
wait.
I'm gonna be fucked. Actually I could probably start from there.
Let's hit up these hold on, that's older comment. All right, before we wrap up, let's finish these comments. One also, how bad is Supergirl that Lobo is largely ignored in the reviews? Lobo wasn't really factored into the plot of the movie. He just
No.
pops in to
Yeah.
make appearances and to say a funny quote here and there. That's pretty much it. He wasn't integral to the storyline, in my opinion. Wait, who don't like popcorn? This guy right here.
I love
How you like
popcorn.
movies without a bucket of bag of fresh warm corn? Maybe some jubes
Jujubes,
or Mike
jujubes.
and Ike's or Haribos in it. Damn, I'm going to get candy and watch Spidey for supper. When I go to the movies, by the way, when I did eat stuff, I ate nachos with the hot cheese.
You're
Popcorn
one of
gets
those.
stuck in my teeth and stuff, and it's
I
dry.
bring a flosser.
Nah, man. But when I'm watching movies, like I like to be nice and paying. I don't like chewing and
Yeah.
it's loud. I don't like it. I outgrown that, I think. But I understand why people like it though. Don't blame dyslexia for the okay. I'm not gonna read all that, but I get what you're saying, Joe. He's
No,
talking
you
to
have
you,
to.
Joe.
He did it.
He's
No,
talking
last
to
time.
you.
No. I'm gonna tell you because you'll see it when we do 3 corners. He's purposely getting you to read it the way he types it. Just read it the way you would. I caught him. I told you. I got you.
Ah, he's on to you,
And it
one.
was all the way to the end after I realized, damn it, I'm gonna read these like a normal person.
What's up, Boba Fettuccine? What's up? Thanks for. Oh, it's good seeing you again.
Yeah, thank you for
Do
joining
you guys think that we could get an accurate adaptation for the absolute Batman series?
I hope
Now-
so.
Now the thing is this though, Snyder and Nick Dragotta are both showrunners heavily involved, which is really
Yes.
good. Best news
Yes.
possible. But Snyder already said they're not gonna create page for page adaptation. They're gonna create a series set within the absolute universe world, but creating their own stories out of it. Kind of how Batman the animated series did it.
Mm.
Like when they introduced that's the Paul Dini one when they introduced Harley
Yeah.
Quinn, for example, like the '90s
Just-
Batman.
I mean,
Where
but
it takes place in that world, but they don't want to do a beat for beat. So essentially, it's not going to be Invincible, where it's going to follow the same story. But I kind of wish they did selfishly because it's so damn
I do
good.
too,
But
I
if they
do
give
too.
us something even like better, not better than a book, but something as a companion piece that's going to be just as strong as the source material, then I'll be okay with that. And I trust that it's going to be good because of who is involved. It's not like they're selling it to someone and they're going to make it. No, the actual creators of the book are gonna be on that. But thanks for that question. Appreciate that. But unfortunately we gotta go. My time is up. It's gonna be a bit of a shorter stream today. We actually went a little longer than I intended to, but it's all good.
I
We had a good
apologize, I know.
conversation. No,
Well, and
no.
actually,
It's
only
fine, you're
because
good.
I am the person who. So we're not going to be back for 3 weeks. I'm going to be on vacation, actually going up to Connecticut, Bridgeport, seeing my brothers face to face. We are back on Three Corners this week for the 90s horror. Looking
Yeah.
forward to that one.
If you like horror films, join us on Three Corners of Horror. Well, Horror Fiend TV. I'm sorry, Horror Fiend TV is the name of our channel. Also, we mentioned 3 weeks, but you may see content will be dropped here. Not live is what we're saying, but you may see other content here. So
Yes.
keep an eye
But
out on that.
when we do come back, we'll be coming back for the finale of X-Men. And
Yeah.
I want to say the first episode for DC's Lanterns.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So that we'll be back
And
again in
I
2
don't-
weeks.
I don't
on
know when, but we should be covering the season 3 of House of the Dragon. Am I correct? You down for that?
that. We'll cover that when we come back. We'll cover the
Sweet
basically.
stream. Thanks,
Thank
Boba.
you.
Appreciate
Thank you, Boba.
that.
Yeah, no,
Appreciate
when
that.
we do, because we unfortunately, starting this, we're trying to find our groove. We wanted to cover a whole lot. Honestly, guys, we really did. But we want to start trying to get the groove. And unfortunately, we're trying to keep to certain topics. Eventually, we'll have multiple, which is what the channel is for.
Yeah.
But we got to learn ourselves how to get there. But we are going to cover House of the Dragon. Basically, we can discuss the whole season.
Once it's over, we'll discuss the season. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do the whole season.
Which
We'll
it's
also
an amazing season so far.
It's going fucking great.
God dang.
We will finish off X-Men because by then the finale will be done, and I think it's going to be also the premiere of Lanterns.
When is
and,
Lanterns dropping?
Well,
all right. If you don't know, don't check. Don't
Yeah.
check. It's fine. It's fine.
they just finished saying it. I was looking at the thing. Hold
We'll
on.
figure it out.
Lanterns actually. When we come back the 23rd.
Perfect.
Lanterns are the first episode will already be dropped.
We'll
So
cover the first episode.
for that live, it's going to be Absolute Wonder Woman, the last Amazon, the last episodes of X-Men 97, and the premiere for Lanterns.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Joe, the psychologist. Always a pleasure. I'll see you Thursday for Three Corners of Horror
Yes,
on
sir,
Horror
sir.
Fiend TV. But this has been the Comment Spot. Thank you guys for joining us on that
Yes.
one. I don't have anything clever to say on this stream quite yet. I didn't figure it out. But did we have something, Joe, or no? What did we say last time?
But I don't know when we did. We could do the PR. I don't know.
Well, do something right now. All right, Joe. I take us out for the other shows. You do this one. Take us home, Joe.
We are.